one? I don't know. There's an awful lot of stuff here I guess I don't understand. Me too. Books sure are complicated. Hey, Corey, maybe we could ask your mom. But she's a girl. Ask her anyway.
Ask me what, fellas?
Go on, Corey. Ask her.
Of course. What are mothers for?
Well, it's just that Richard and some guys were talking at school today, and he was telling them about, well...
About what?
About how babies are made.
Oh, boy.
Can you explain it to us, Mrs. Baker? You do know, don't you?
Yes, Earl. I believe I do.
Well?
Well, it's something I think we'd better discuss after dinner. It might take a little time.
But after dinner, I'll be downstairs in my house.
Exactly, Earl. And then you can ask your mother to explain it to you. Okay, buddy. Now, where were we?
You were going to explain to me how babies get made.
Right. Now, let's see. Well, to begin with...
I'll go.
Hi, Corey.
It's Cousin Sarah.
Cousin Sarah, our own fantastic self in person. Oh, and how I missed you both.
Oh, we missed you, too. When did you get here?
Just an hour ago. I came straight here from the airport. And am I exhausted?
Tell us all about India. And did you bring me anything?
Yes, I did. And yes, I will, Corey.
And tell us, how did the picture turn out?
Incroyable, as the French say. Oh, look, let's sit down, and I'll give you both a first-person, play-by-play report of the whole wild scene.
I'll start the coffee, and you start talking.
I haven't stopped. Well, anyway, 2 short months ago, when your most fascinating living relative arrived in Bombay on location with her fiancé, the one, the only Clyde Porter, to make this here flick, well, I was only a simple but talented country girl from Kansas about to play her first part in a really big cinema.
We've heard the commercial, Sarah. Now get to the travelogue.
Yeah, I want to hear about India and the tigers and snakes and stuff.
You want to hear about snakes? I'll tell you about snakes. Once, when we were getting ready for a shot deep in the jungle, I turned around just as a great big cobra came slithering down a tree. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I'd like to have died right there. And I let out this yell that you could have heard in Topeka. And then, just as Clyde and I were getting on the plane to come home, we found out that an elephant, had knocked down our camera tent and stomped our last 4 days' work into mandolin picks. So we had to go back and shoot it all over again. Quel pain in the neck.
Gee, I sure wish I could have been there with you.
Oh, me too, little cuz. You would have had a ball.
But what about you and Clyde? I mean, when is the wedding?
Well, now, there's something that you and I have got to talk about, Julia. Clyde and I had a real heavy heart-to-heart about the wedding on the plane coming back, and he agreed with me, so it's all settled.
What is?
That you're gonna give the wedding.
Me? Well, what on earth have I got to do with...
Mom,
What is it, Corey?
if you and Cousin Sarah are going to talk about gushy stuff like weddings, I think I'll go do my homework.
I wish you would, because Cousin Sarah and I seem to have a lot of gushy stuff we have to straighten out between ourselves.
See you later, little cuz.
Me too. And I'm really glad you're back, Cousin Sarah. And don't forget my present.
He's quite a fellow, that son of yours.
Never mind, Corey, just now. Let's get back to how I suddenly got in the middle of your marriage to Clyde Porter.
Well, it's simple, Julia. Isn't it customary for the bride's family to give the wedding?
Well, yes,
And you
but...
and Corey are all the family I have, at least in California. So, who else is there?
But, Sarah, this wedding is going to be a big thing. I mean, Clyde Porter's a rich, famous, important man. He can't get married like just, well, like just anybody.
But that's the whole point, don't you see, cuz? It's just because he is Clyde Porter that you just got to do this for me. I mean, I just can't go to him like some orphan or something. After all, I've got my pride. And if I'm going to be his wife, we just got to get married properly. Oh, Julia, when you and Walt got married, it was done right, wasn't it?
Well, yes.
And isn't that memory something very important to you now?
It certainly is.
Well, then say you'll help me now, dearest cuz.
I don't seem to have much choice, do I, Sarah?
Oh, Julia. Julia, I can't tell you how happy you made me.
Sarah, I hate to intrude on the sentimentality of all this, but I really have a very important question to ask you. How are we supposed to pay for this wedding?
Oh, that's no problem. Clyde's gonna lend me whatever we need.
He's going to lend you the money?
Sure. Then after we're married, I'll pay him back. Out of the allowance he's gonna give me.
Just a moment. Come in.
Doctor, your mail.
Oh. Bills. Bills and ads. No wonder the post office is going broke.
Will there be anything else, Doctor?
No. I mean, yes. I don't know. Surely there must be something that needs doing around here. I feel so useless.
But this lull won't last, Doctor. It never does. In the meantime, why don't you take the afternoon off and play a little golf?
Well, thanks for the suggestion. I feel retired enough as it is.
Oh, I wish I had your problem. Arranging for Sarah's wedding is likely to drive me out of my mind without any help from our normal workload.
Well, the way I feel, I'd swap you even right now.
Oh, don't tempt me, Doctor. Don't tempt me.
Can we ask you something?
Anything, buddy. What's on your mind?
Can you tell us how babies get made?
Oh, brother.
You do know, don't you?
Of course I do. I'm not a kid.
Then tell us about it.
Well, I can, but I think it's something you better ask your mothers about.
Why?
Well, I'm afraid you better ask them about that, too.
About what?
About why I can't tell you how... About your first question.
Huh?
Come on now, fellas. Let's break this up. I've got a lot of work to do.
Oh, gee. Hey, I got an idea. Let's go downstairs and wait for my dad to come home. Maybe we can get him to tell us. You want to bet?
Anything happened while I was gone?
I had one small splitter. You had 11 phone calls.
Ooh.
Here. 1 florist, 2 caterers, a bakery, a printer, and 4 gossip columnists.
Oh, dear. How did they all find out so quickly that I'm arranging the wedding?
Oh, and there were 2 urgent calls from some clown named Sam Stone.
That's Clyde Porter's personal manager.
The man is hypertense, if you ask me.
Dr. Chegley, are you so desperate for patients that you are now making diagnoses by telephone? Thank you, Miss Dannery. Good night. Oh, Sarah and her simple wedding are going to drive me right out of my mind.
You want to tell me about it now, Mom?
About the wedding?
No, how babies get made.
Oh, that's right, Corey. We never did finish our conversation, did we?
I don't think we ever even started it. But we could now, couldn't we?
Well, the only problem is that I'm expecting someone momentarily.
I think you just don't want to tell me, just like everybody else.
What do you mean by that, son?
Roberta told me to ask you, and L.J. Wagner's dad said he had to talk to L.J. Wagner's mom first. If you grown-ups don't want to tell us kids anything, then why don't you just say so?
But it's not that. It's not that at all. As a matter of fact, as soon as my guest leaves... Oh, there. That must be him now.
Then I guess I'll just go ahead and do my homework again.
And I promise I won't forget about it later.